Mr. President, yesterday the Senate voted to begin consideration of the modestly named Genius Act, a bill that would regulate stablecoins, a form of cryptocurrency. Crypto is known as a volatile investment and more unpredictable than traditional financial assets like stocks and bonds. Last month, the value of Bitcoin, a type of crypto, dropped to $76,000, but it shot up to more than $100,000 last week. Supporters of the Genius Act say that's where stable coins come in. They argue that stable coins are tied to the value of a dollar, for example, so they never lose their value. The name stablecoin makes it sound secure, doesn't it? But the name is misleading. In 2023 alone, stablecoins deviated from their underlying asset more than 600 times. That does not sound like stability to me. While I agree with supporters of the Genius Act that crypto and stablecoins need to be regulated, I have genuine concerns about the bill. One is the amount of illicit finance that stablecoins could support. A recent report found that crypto facilitated $51 billion in illicit transactions, and stablecoins accounted for 63% of all illicit crypto transactions. Many illegal transactions, crypto transactions, involve crypto ATMs. You might have seen one at your grocery store or gas station, though you may not realize it. They allow you to trade in cash for cryptocurrency, but they also are a frequent tool of scammers and fraudsters who prey on Americans, especially senior citizens. We receive phone calls in our offices back in Illinois on a regular basis from senior citizens who've been scammed out of thousands of dollars. Here's how it works. A scammer will call an unassuming victim, pretending to be from the government or the victim's bank. Let me stop right there and say what I tell people over and over again. The government is not going to call you on the phone. If anyone calls you on the phone and represents that they're part of Social Security or some other federal agency, it is most likely a scam. That's the starting point. A scammer calls this unassuming victim and creates a scenario, an emergency scenario in their minds. The scammer tells the victim that they owe money for skipping jury duty, for unpaid taxes, or that their bank account is frozen. The scammer warns the victim they've got to pay urgently or else the fines will escalate and the victim may face jail time if they don't move quickly. The scammer tells the victim not to worry. They can simply drive to the nearest crypto ATM, make their payment, and everything will be just fine. The scanner walks them through the steps of inserting cash in the machine, purchasing cryptocurrency, and sending it to the scammer's digital wallet. Once that happens, the money is gone with no way to get it back, and little hope of tracing the transaction to the scammer. All throughout the scam, the fraudster will stay in constant contact with the victim to keep them from ever getting a moment to take a breath, calm down, consult a trusted friend, or maybe realize that what's really going on. In 2023, scammers used crypto ATMs to cheat victims out of $114 million, mainly senior citizens. I first found out about these scams after reading an article in the Illinois Times, a newspaper publication in Springfield, Illinois. The article told the story of a vape shop owner in Springfield who was being paid $300 a month to have a crypto ATM machine on his premises. One day, the owner noticed a panicked elderly woman enter the shop, hurriedly feed thousands of dollars into the crypto ATM while talking on the phone the whole time. The vape shop owner learned that the woman was scammed out of $5,000 before he stepped in to stop her from putting more money into the machine. Later, the owner removed the crypto ATM from his store, but there was no way for the woman to get her money back. That owner said, "I just couldn't, in good conscience, allow more and more senior citizens to come in and use that machine after being scammed." This same story has repeated itself countless times across the country. An 80-year-old man in Texas lost thousands of dollars to a scammer who claimed he needed to pay bail to get his son out of jail. The man claimed, quote, "I was scared. I hit the panic button, and I let my panic take control of my good judgment." In South Carolina, a retired couple lost $320,000 over several months to a scam involving crypto ATMs. Last month, a retired woman in Wisconsin lost $24,000, her entire life savings, when scammers convinced her to use a crypto ATM, claiming it was the only way to protect her bank account from fraudulent activity. Since the scam, the woman has said, "Sometimes I wake up and I shiver because I still hear that scammer's voice. It's probably something I'll never get over." Just this month, the sheriff's office in Walton County, Florida, reported that a resident was cheated out of $129,000 by a scammer claiming to be from their bank. Crypto ATM operators will claim that their kiosks give banking and crypto access to the unbanked, often those in minority and low-income communities who've historically been locked out of the banking system. But in reality, the elderly and unbanked are the most vulnerable to scams involving crypto ATM fraud. And crypto ATMs charge high fees, ranging from 7% to 20%, and have fewer customer protections, if any, for the users. States such as Nebraska, Arizona, and Connecticut have passed legislation to crack down on these scams. It's time for Congress to do the same. It's been predicted that the result of the so-called Genius Act is a dramatic increase in crypto activity. That means dramatic exposure to fraud. Let's make sure this amendment, which I'm going to offer to the Genius Act, is adopted to protect innocent victims. I can tell you for sure, you're going to hear from senior citizens and others who have lost their life savings. That's why I'm pushing for a vote on my amendment to the Genius Act. It creates common sense guardrails to prevent crypto ATM fraud and empower law enforcement to combat these scams. My amendment, based on the Crypto ATM Fraud Prevention Act, would require crypto ATM operators to warn consumers about scams, provide live customer support, develop comprehensive anti-fraud policies. With my amendment, fewer Americans will be cheated out of their entire retirement savings in just a few days, and ATM operators would no longer be able to simply turn a blind eye to the fraud at their kiosks. These scams have already harmed thousands of Americans and cheated them out of their life saving. Enough is enough. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, listen to the people you represent, particularly the senior citizens who are losing their life savings to these scams, and realize that with 30,000 crypto ATMs across the country, more and more of this will occur. We need to support this amendment that provides common sense guardrails to stop scammers in their tracks and protect hardworking Americans. Mr. President, I yield the floor.